Hello, 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 and welcome to Forex 101 here in the holding block. Oh goodness me, how are you? How has your week been? I hope everybody's well. I hope you are fine. I hope everything is all right. You will notice I am free. I'm free. I can do this. I can do this now. The reason being I've moved my microphone out of the way. My goodness me, it seems that microphone was causing all kinds of audio problems, buzzing and things like that. So I'm still using the microphone, but it's out of view. It's my vocal recording microphone that I use if people need to sing and things like that. So yeah, it picks up everything. It picks up all kinds of sound. So hopefully, well, number one, I'm happy because I'm free. I'm able to move my hands like this. I'm even able to drink with my right hand. Nice. So yeah, I love this space. I love it. So happy to have you here in the holding block. Please tell me where you're watching from. I'd love to give shout outs to people. Yeah, we're going to get into it today. We're going to have a good, fantastic session. Last week I had a small little section because I wanted to give as much time as possible to my special guest, which is Mr. Ballet Granville, and he gave us so much value. So this week I'm going to elaborate on some of the things that I mentioned last week, but I'll get into that as we go into the session. And by the way, next week here in Forex 101, I have the pleasure of having Mr. Bass Quayman, who is a Forex educator as well. He's a top Forex educator. He's going to give us so much value. So I'm looking forward to next week as well as today's session. So thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome. We're going to get into our lesson today. Let's fade down the music and let's go through the agenda. So what have we got for today? Well, as per usual, well, this is session 6. If you haven't watched any of the previous sessions, please go to my website. I'll show you in a moment, or to my YouTube channel, and then you can actually see the streams. I think it's a shout out to Destiny221208 watching from YouTube. You're watching all the way from Southeast London. Oh, you're loving the top. Thank you so much. This is I had this made, specially made. This is a True Colors top. So there's a brand called True Colors. Happens to be my brother's brand, and he encourages people. I'll tell you what, that brand is quite powerful. It encourages people to show their true colors. Just be who you are. Be who you're born to be. Be who you're meant to be. And yeah, I am repping Nigeria. So if anyone's watching from Nigeria, I'll give you a shout out. Someone's watching from Facebook. Some of the Facebook users, let me tell you, sometimes I can't see the name of the person who's sending the comments. So please let me know who you are. And shout out to Sherelle as well. Thank you very much. It's very nice. I appreciate that. So let me not digress. So into today's show, we have the recap. We're going to have a recap of the brief information that I covered at the beginning of last week's session. Then I'm going to have what I call technical analysis part 2 continued. So I mentioned those reversal structure patterns. We're going to have a look at those again, and we're going to have a think about how they actually apply to the charts. So we're going to have a look at those again. And then we're going to actually go to the charts. Today's session, I really want it to be interactive. So if you can, here's what I want you to think about. If you have another device, or if you're on your phone, maybe get a laptop, or if you're on your phone, maybe get a tablet, etc. Because we're going to be going to the charts, and I want you to try and follow what I'm going to be doing during this session today. So we're going to really walk through it and get to grips with marking up charts. That's 25 past, and then if there are any questions, you can let me know. I'll be happy to answer what I can. No questions are silly. There is no such thing as a silly question when it comes to Forex 101. Feel at home, feel relaxed, feel comfortable, because this is the place where you are not judged negatively. I will not destroy you because you don't know. I will only try to answer your question. And naturally, if it's higher than basic level, I will answer it outside of this forum, because I don't want people to feel intimidated with lots of complex questions. We want to keep it nice and simple. But all questions are open as long as it's basic. Okay, so what did we look at last week? Well, last week we looked at price reaching a certain place in the market. Vicky N, yes, hey to you too. Shout out to Vicky. And thank you, PBD, for saying nice graphics. I appreciate that, my friend. So yes, in terms of a technical analysis, last week I talked about reversal structures, reversal patterns. So, and shout out to my sister Olga. Hey, when price reaches a certain place in the market, it changes directions. What's the point in looking at this? Well, the reality is we know from previous weeks that price is either going to be generally moving up, moving down, or moving sideways. So how do you know when it's finished? That's the question. How do you know when price has finished moving up and it's going to start moving down? Okay, how do you know when it's moving down and it's finished and it's going to start moving up? Well, how do you identify actually that it is actually moving sideways and it's not really a good time to get into it? So this is where these patterns come in, because price forms certain structures in the charts, and we're able to look at those structures and identify it to help us to understand what could potentially be happening next. So the first structure we looked at, again, this is just my crude drawings, but we're seeing price go up to a certain place in the market, and then price can return down to a specific line. So this green line is clearly an area in the market that when price comes to that point, something happens. Either it bounces away from that point or it breaks through that point. But you can identify certain points in the market. And if you've watched previous weeks, we've referred to those as support or resistance lines. So here, this line, this green line in my chart is proved as a point of support, because look what happens. Price bounces and rejects that area and goes straight back up again. And then it reaches kind of an apex, if you like. It reaches a top point, and then guess what happens? It comes straight back down to that previous area. So it comes back to the area, and then what happens? It does something kind of like this. So again, that green line shows whenever price gets there, it doesn't like that place. Something tends to happen. And that's how we identify that place on the market. Hey, Iron Monkey 2 watching on YouTube. Shout out to you. So yeah, price rejects that. So we can see on the chart, I'm going to bring my mouse into this now. So price kind of, well, it would have started below here, but it's gone up and it's reached a specific place in the market. It's turned around, it's hit this area of support, and it's bounced all the way up past that previous place. And if you were watching before, you know that this was a high, this is a low, this is called a what? I know there's a time delay in the comments, but I'm imagining somebody, if they were watching the previous sessions, you know that area is not just called a high, it's called a higher high. That's right. So this has created a higher high up here, and then it pulls back and goes back down, and it comes to this same area and it bounces off it again, and it comes back up, and then after that it goes and breaks through that line, finally going through, and then you can take a position that is a sell. So what do we call that? Well, we call that a head and shoulders pattern. Well done, Vicky said hi. I didn't see that until just now. Well done. You've been watching the sessions. Congratulations. Do you know, I'll tell you what, if you think, because those of you who watch my shows, you know that on a Tuesday, we have prizes, we have giveaways. In fact, that reminds me, I have an old tablet that I was trying to give away before. I've still got that on standby. If you want to win a prize during FOREX 101, drop a comment in whatever platform they're using, either Facebook or YouTube, and let me know if you would like to have competitions on a Thursday afternoon. I love giving away stuff, so let me know. But yeah, shout out to Vicky. You don't want a prize, but well done. It is a higher high. So this is called a head and shoulders pattern. Again, just recapping what we said last week. If you imagine, use your imagination here. We're imagining that this area here is a shoulder. This one we're referring to as a head, and this one's another shoulder. So the person's kind of leaned up with the shoulder like that. And the reason why I did one higher than the other is because it doesn't always come nice and evenly. It will come at odd angles, and one may be higher than the other. It may be more shallow, maybe deeper, higher. But yes, okay, so we're saying, yeah, we want competitions. Okay, so we'll see what we can do about that. Well, definitely there. Okay, right. So I think it's settled. I'm gonna put my head to the drawing board and have a think about what can be given away each week. Because yes, I said I've got a tablet to give away, but it's all well and good giving a tablet away one off. I can't do that every week, unfortunately. So we'll have to see. We'll try and find either a partner or I can arrange something with somebody whoever wants to give away something for free each week. I'm sure you can contact me and we'll sort out competition on here. So. Head and shoulders pattern. Let me not hide the emblem. Head and shoulders pattern is a reversal structure pattern. And when we look at the charts a bit later on, we'll see how these shapes can be formed and actually what that means for entering a position in the market and where you could potentially enter, in this case, for a sell position. Is what we're doing is we're having a look. We're seeing, yes, price has been moving. We're assuming it's been moving from an upward trend. It has been moving up, and then it continues to go up, creates a higher high, and then it comes down, forms a lower high, and then actually it breaks this area here. And that is the most important part about these types of structures. You're looking for an area that is kind of giving you an indication that, yes, now it's safe to get into this trade. I say that because actually, imagine if price had stopped here above this line. What could then potentially happen? It could go up, it could go down a bit. We're not too sure. So we use areas like this for confirmation. It's a confirmation to help us get confidence to say, right, okay, things usually happen around this area. And we've seen here, it's come to this area once, it's bounced away. It's come to this area again, and it's bounced away. But this time, it's actually broke through the area. Now that tells us, okay, so it's broken through, what's going to happen next. So when we get to the charts, I'll show you what types of things we can look to and a more a closer perspective. We're going to zoom in a little bit and have a look. And again, just to add in, these types of shapes don't form as smoothly as this. So you will see lots of zigzags going up, coming down a bit, up and down a bit, get to those places. You've heard me say it before. So that's just to recap. Now, the other structure is something that is known as a double top. And both of these are structures that would help us to understand when the market is moving from a bullish market into a bearish market. So it was going up. We know that a bull means uptrend. It means a buy order is being placed. And then we know that bear means downtrend or sell orders. If you're not familiar with those, again, refer to previous sessions, watch those and catch up. So a double top, this is where there are a couple of areas in the market. So we have the safety line at the bottom, or what's called an area of support. But also what we can draw in is a specific place in the market where actually price doesn't want to go beyond that point. And in that case, it would just be another straight line, and we would refer to that as a ceiling or an area of resistance. So again, if it was on an uptrend, it was going up, and then all of a sudden it reaches a point, comes back, bounces up again, and then it breaks through that specific area of support, we would look for a bear position and we would go in for a sell. So that is what's referred to as a double top. And just so that you know, these patterns can be inverted. So what you would be looking for is what we call a reverse head and shoulders, or essentially a W with a kind of deeper center. And it depends on which way you look at it, because some people will say that it's an M upside down. But either way, I'm not going to confuse you. We're going to look at the bear patterns only today, but each one of these can be reversed. So you would have a double bottom, you have a double top that I've shown you here, or you have a head and shoulders, or you have the inverted head and shoulders. So if that is crystal clear, please tell me that it's clear in the comments and let me know that you're fine for me to move on. But this is a simple explanation of two of the basic structures that can be identified that would indicate some kind of reversal in the pattern of the market. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, in a moment, we're going to be getting into the charts. This is just a very quick recap of Consolidation, that is when the price is moving sideways. And again, we know that price doesn't move sideways, it goes up and down, but within a very, very tight range. That's what we refer to as consolidation. So price is kind of doing that in a tight range, as opposed to moving up, moving down, moving up a lot. Crystal clear, 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 clear. Fantastic. Thank you so much for feedback. So yes, consolidation is moving sideways. What is it called again when price moves up? Does anybody remember that? And what is it called when price moves down? If you could type that in the comments, I'd be very impressed. So I have mentioned it a few times. And those people who are getting ready to do the practical session with me, because we're going to be marking up charts, visit the website at the bottom, edgewareedu.com/trading. I have some tools on the website. I'm going to use them here. I want you to use them with me so that we can actually do some marking up of the charts, because it's all well and good listening to me go on and on, but it's better when you get hands on with the session too. So we've got Vicky has responded, bearish and bullish. Well done. Correct. That is, yes, well done to, is that Leamana? I hope I've said that right. I'm so sorry if I haven't. And well done to Maxwell. Yep. Bullish is up. Yes. Bearish for down. Very, very good. Fantastic. So that is correct. So we have the upward movement, and that is called, we could say it's moving in a buy trend. We could say that it's bullish. We could say it's in an uptrend. All of these things refer to the charts moving in an upward direction. And then, as you correctly said, we have the sell momentum, which is moving down. And we have, we could refer to that as bearish, or we could refer to that as a downtrend. Okay, fantastic. Someone's using their daughter's laptop. That's what children are for. You can borrow their stuff. So yeah, we're going to jump on that website together. So if you are able, if you have another device at your disposal, please jump on www.edgewareedu.com/trading, and we're going to mark up some charts together. Okay. Oh, it's a nice day today. It's a nice day. The window is open in the studio. I hope everybody can hear me fine. Using a new microphone and all. It's, yeah, I did do my, you know me, I do tests, I do practice sessions and stuff like that. So here it is, edgewareedu.com/trading. And again, if you haven't seen the previous session, refer to those. I'm going to upset the feng shui here and add my today's session into this section here a bit later on today. I'm going to centralize it. I'll put it right there at the top. But yeah, I can't wait till next week so I can balance it, have two on each side. Yeah, I'm crazy like that. Yes, so here we go. We have our chart, and this is what I want everybody to look at. So on this chart here, what are we going to look at first? Well, this is a little test. What I would like you to do, if you have your chart up, if you are on there, you will see there are some tools at the side. Now, I actually changed this to the arrow. You will probably have the default tool, which is called a crosshair. And this is possibly what yours would look like. If you don't like all of those lines as you're moving around, then just hover over the crosshair and you'll see the arrow at the side, and click that and then select arrow. Okay, and that will just bring you to the normal mouse cursor that you may be used to. Okay, so the first thing is we are going to use what's called a trend line, and we are going to draw a trend line on the chart to first of all identify a bearish trend. Okay, so I want to give you a little bit of time. Fantastic. I've been told I'm loud and clear. That's great. So I want to give you a bit of time. I want you to get onto this website and I want you to try to draw a trend line. I'm going to show you what that would look like when you're using the tool. So this tool should be available straight away. If it's not, again, click the arrow at the side and just select trend line at the side. Okay. And once you've done that, it's literally click, move, click, click, move, click. You can tell I was a primary teacher. I love these little memory things. So if you click and you move and then you click again, that is how to draw a trend line. And yes, we can see here that is a bear trend. The price is moving in a downward motion. Actually, price moved, even though it moved back up again, it continued to move on a downward trend all the way up to this point here. So hopefully you're able to do that with me and identify a downward trend. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is as simple as technical analysis gets. Now, there's lots of room for subjectivity when it comes to line placement. But here's the most important thing. When you place a line, you need to be confident. Every single line that you put down on a chart is to increase your personal confidence, okay? It's for your own personal analysis, and it is for you to be able to see why you are going to place a trade in a specific position that you are deciding to. So sometimes when you put your lines in, you'll see something that causes you to change your mind based on where you've placed your lines. It does not mean that everybody else is going to place their lines exactly where you place them. But there are certain things that you will hear. There's a lot of different people who will say go from wick to wick. Some people may go from body to body. But the reality is, and if you're not sure what I mean by wick to wick, watch previous sessions. I won't explain it now. But you can see here, I've just put this at the top of that wick. And if I go up to the top of it, I can click on the dot and move it maybe all the way to the top of this wick here. And zooming in and out, by the way, I'm just rolling my mouse forward and backwards, and that zooms in and out. Or you could hover over the bottom here and it allows you to press a plus and minus to do exactly the same thing. So drawing a trend line is as simple as that. You literally select it at the side and you can go and identify the trend in a market. So has everybody been able to do that? If you've been able to do that, just type yes in the chat box just so that I know that you're up to speed. It's really simple, isn't it? But I like to make it even simpler. It's just a case of click, drag, click to plot your lines on your chart. Okay, so that is to identify a bear trend. That is a bear trend. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this line, and as you can see, it's pulled up this section here. I can change the color of this line by selecting this, and I can also hide it and I can bin it. So I'm going to bin this for now, and what we're going to do is we want to look for an area of consolidation. Let's look for an area of consolidation first of all. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and what we need to look for is an area where it has the charts have moved sideways, but it is within a tight range. Can anybody see an area where price has moved sideways is kind of forming maybe like a tabletop? Okay, if you're looking at what I'm looking at right now, you should be able to see this area here where price, it hasn't moved up much, it hasn't moved down much, and it is creating an area of consolidation. So what am I going to do about this? Well, there are a couple of things I would do, and if you've watched previous videos, I draw a box, but all I'm going to do this time is I'm going to draw a line right down the middle of it, and I'm going to actually choose a horizontal line. So I've clicked where it had trend line, click the arrow, and I've gone to horizontal line, and I click that. Now, wherever I click my mouse next, a line will appear. So I'm going to put it in the right place and just click. Okay, so why have I chosen there, you may be thinking? Why have I chosen there? Well, I've looked at this area here, and I thought to myself, how much of the candles are below that area and how much of the candles are above that area? And I thought, right, let me just try and place that in the middle. Again, you can draw a box around it. If you wanted to find the box tool, you go to the paintbrush at the side and you click rectangle, and you can simply click, drag, click to draw your box. And you can see there, my line is going straight down the middle of that box, just from my own personal estimation. I've estimated it and I've guessed it, but you can see here from where I've drawn it, I've tried to see how much is above, how much is below. I haven't even measured it, but that is kind of me identifying an area of consolidation. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? If you see consolidation in the market, what does that tell you? Should you go in for a buy in consolidation, or should you go in for a sell position during consolidation? First person to type the correct answer in the chat box gets a shout out. I will, I'm looking forward to giving away prizes, I really am. Oh no, do you know, have you ever drank a cup of tea and just thought that it finishes too quickly? I don't know. It happens to me with crisps as well. I eat crisps. And you get to the bottom of it, it's like, what, already? I'm sure they used to be bigger. If you agree with me that crisps used to be bigger back in the day, please type that in the chat box. I don't know if I'm alone with that, but I feel like they've just reduced the size of crisp packets. Okay, so we have Marsha. Marsha is saying, do not buy or sell. Interesting. Destiny saying, wait for it to decide a direction. Okay, and Jasmine is saying, I'm assuming you do not enter, but she's not sure. Well done for all of you, because I think your gut feeling, even Jasmine, she's not sure, but her gut feeling is she's assuming that you don't enter. That would be absolutely correct, because we're not sure if if price is going up. Now, let me zoom in and illustrate why. I've drawn this line to show that this is the area of consolidation. Now, imagine. Somebody has seen this line as a place where price is going to, and they say to themselves, okay, yes, price, it's broke through that line there. Yeah. And they say, yeah, I'm going to take a buy position. Well, they take their buy position. All of a sudden it goes down into what we call drawdown, but then it goes up and the person says, yes, I'm happy. I'm very happy. However, what if they have set their take profit, which is the place in which they will be taken out of the trade, and they're saying, yep, this is the amount of money that I'd like to make from this trade in regards to pit movement, because this is an area where price has been to previously. They're assuming that once it breaks out of here, it's going to go all the way up to there again. Okay, so they've gone in and they've placed a buy order. Now, as price moved down, they get a bit sweaty and they're thinking, oh my goodness me, no, this is no good. But then price turns around and starts moving up and thinking, okay, then this is nice. But then it doesn't quite go higher, and then they're waiting again. And remember, this is an hour chart. I was about to say a 1 minute chart. This is an hour chart. We're looking at an hour chart. So each one of these is actually a candle that's lasted for an hour. So you've got into the trade 1 hour, 2 hours plus, a bit sweaty, 3 hours, okay, it's coming back to break even. 4 hours, it's kind of hovering around break even. 5 hours, okay, it's shooting away, very happy, we're relaxed now, we can breathe. Then it moves sideways a bit, and then all of a sudden, bang, 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 bang. You know, that's probably not the best. And that is possibly a place that would have just stopped out this person who was in it for a buy position. They placed the buy order, take profit there, stop loss there, and it's come snap them out of their stop loss. And all of a sudden they're sweating, thinking, oh my goodness, I have lost money. Oh dear, woe is me. Can I live to trade another day? And if you've been trading with a sensible risk to reward ratio, sensible lot size, you will live to trade another day. The high risk people will be stopped out and be wondering where they're going to get money from to enter into another trade. So from this position here, price is moving up, it's kind of moving up, but it doesn't quite get past this area here, which is level with the top of this candle, and their take profit is not being reached. And they have to consider, right, do I come out of this trade? Do I stay in this trade? It's come out, they might say, yeah, it's broke, it's kind of retested, it's going up again. And if they're still waiting for it to hit this take profit line, my goodness me, they're in for a disappointment, because look at what happens. It doesn't just go sideways, but look at that, look at that. Oh, and it keeps going. Oh, and it keeps going, it keeps going. And the pain and the anguish and the distraughtness of everything, it's not great. Jasmine says, I want to cry, lol. It happened to me. Lots of learning still to do. Jasmine, do you know, I appreciate that. And do you know what has happened to me? It's happened to many of us. And this is why I'm sharing these, because these are what I'm calling basic tips. And this is also the reason why many people, they watch 1 or 2 videos on YouTube and they say to themselves, yes, I am now able to enter. I am now able to enter the trade. I am going to take my money and enter the trade. And you want to do what you're doing. I'm sorry, Nigel Nexica is probably the t-shirt. But, you know, they're thinking that, yes, I know what I'm doing. But actually, they do make mistakes because they can't spot simple things like an area of consolidation. And it's better to wait than to jump in. And I'll tell you this for a fact, if you are in a trade and that trade starts to go into consolidation, even if you are in drawdown, get out. That is the time to get out, because you are not sure what is going to happen next. It could go in your favor. It might not go in your favor, but it's best not to take that risk. If you see it starting to move sideways, that is no good. Okay, if you're still with me and you're able to draw up and mark up the charts, hopefully you were able to identify, the Naja is coming out. Naja is coming out, says Vicky. Ah, my goodness me. I'm not making up these comments. Do you know what? Let me just... you see this, I'm making people laugh. This is... I don't know if this is altogether professional. However, it's just me. I'm just being me. I'm showing my true colors. Where's the logo? There you go. I'm showing my true colors. My true colors are this thing. So, yes. So yeah, what have we done? We've done bear trend. We identified a bear trend. We've looked at an area of consolidation. What are we going to look at next? Yes, of course, we are going to look for a bullish trend. So let's zoom out from this this view here. Let me get back onto the chart view. Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out. Okay. Oh, look at that. Let's get rid of this line as well. I'm just clicking on it, and I'm going to click bin. So we can see this coming all the way from there. Now, can you imagine somebody taking a trade from there all the way to there? That would be fantastic. However, it's not that simple, because how many days would somebody have to be in this trade for? Well, I'll tell you. I'm going to bring up the crosshairs, and I'm going to hold shift and click, and I'm going to drag all the way up to there, assuming someone had taken that trade. Now, can you see? It says that is 345 pips. Yes, very nice. Convert that into money. That is a very nice amount for anybody. But look at that. 8 days and 23 hours. Have you got the nerve to stay in for a trade for that long? This is really finished. Some people have. And that's great. And they would have had to have ridden out this storm here. Yes, it's come up. It's gone down a bit. It's come up. Oh, it's going down. It's going down. Oh, no, it's going up. And you would have to have the patience to ride that out. It's definitely not a beginner move. That is a Ballet Granville move. Okay, yeah, that's a Ballet Granville move right there. He spoke to us last week, and they're the type of moves that he takes. He takes the whole thing. And if you're patient, you will get it too. So that is an uptrend. So let's draw our trend line to show that area of movement. And again, you can go from the bottom and click, drag, click, or you could go from the top as well, and you can click, drag, and click to the top there. Let me do that again, because I like that. I like that little rhyme. So click, drag, click. So you can see here, I have two trend lines here, and neither one of them is maybe what somebody else would draw. I've drawn it from the top of this section here to the top of the section there. Well, I'm drawing this because I know that price has moved there. Now imagine, let's just imagine, I'm going to draw a box to illustrate this. Imagine we can't see any of this movement on the chart. And this is the type of thing that a trader would have to deal with. They would have to deal with the fact that they don't know where price is going to go to next. So imagine with me that we can only see this section here. So therefore, I'm not going to draw my trend line going to there. I'm going to draw it going to here, and also incorporate the tops of those wicks there and just have a line there. So what I'm going to do, in mathematics, you would call this an extrapolation. So you would extend this line, stick into that trajectory, and we would extend it forward. And this, what would this do? It would help us to predict where we think and anticipate price may go to next. So there are a number of other things. I'll get into those in the weeks to come. But I'm going to click this and delete it. But just using this top line only, we are again imagining that everything inside this box, we don't know, we can't see it, because we only can deal with what price has happened already. So we're seeing this trend line here, and we're looking, price is here, it's kind of moving down. But then the trader's looking at this and thinking, okay, well, it's starting to move up a bit, and it's moving up here. Where could it go to next? Well, again, this is where the predictions come in to predict that it could come and meet with this trend line here. And that's not to say that that is going to be the only thing that your analysis is based on, but this is how trend lines would help. But I would say that a trend line in conjunction with other things, like we said, areas of support, areas of resistance, and there's lots of other tools we're not going to get into today. We're only dealing with the basics. But that is how a trader would use a trend line to help them with their analysis. I'm just going to get rid of this box. and I'm going to get rid of that. How are we doing for time? Okay, we're coming up to the next section. So we've had a look. That is how to identify an uptrend. If that's helpful, please let me know in the comments. We've identified a downwards trend. We've looked at areas of consolidation. That is great. But do you remember before I was also talking about these reversal structure patterns, right? These head and shoulders. And looking at this, and I remember looking at this for the first time, thinking, what on earth? How on earth are you supposed to find a head and shoulders from here? What on earth am I looking for? Okay, well, let's identify one together. So in the middle of my screen, I can see, and hopefully you can too, something that kind of resembles a head and shoulders pattern. So I'm going to zoom in just so that we can see this here. Can you see the shoulders with a higher head? So there's kind of a peak on one side and then a higher peak in the middle and a peak on the other side. If you can see that, tell me yes. Okay, indeed, from Marsha. Thank you very much, Marsha. So let's have a look at that. So there's a couple of things we can do here. We can actually change this back to the brush tool, and we can actually draw it out. So I'm just going to take it from here. Why am I taking it from here? I'm taking it from here because I can see there's an area here where it's level with this area here, and which is also level with this area here. So I'm going to start from here, and I'm just simply going to draw this shape like that. And then we've got the head area there, and then it comes back down, and then we have our shoulder, and I'm going to stop it at this point here. Please tell me if that makes sense when it comes to what I mentioned before in terms of a head and shoulders structure. Because what are we looking for? We're looking for an area that is a safe place to go in for a sell. So if that makes sense to you, just say, yes, it makes sense, and drop that in the comments just so that I can know that you are with me. So let me go back to the crosshair and just move this across. So we can see here, price has moved up and it's come back down. It's moved up to a peak and it's come back down. So it was on an upward trend. It was going up, and it's come to this peak here. It started to come down. Now, we're not sure because this is kind of equidistant. Sorry, it reached a similar level, and I'm going to draw in a horizontal line just to illustrate it even further and make it even more explicit. Okay, good. Marsha says, yes, that makes sense. Fantastic. So I'm going to draw in this horizontal line here just to illustrate further and more clearly that actually price has gone up and it's come down. Just like I said, it's hit that line and it's come away and it's come down and it's kind of reached that similar area here. So what we're not sure of is price going to continue moving up, or is it going to come down again? So what are we supposed to look out for? Remember, we're supposed to look out for a break of that line. Now my daughter is banging on the door. You can probably hear that. Hopefully my wife will come to my rescue in a minute. Now, when we look at this, I'm going to zoom in here because this is the other thing that a trader will look out for. Because we don't just have a break of this line. What we have now is what's called a retest of that line. So price has broken through, then it's retested that line, and it's transformed. Can you hear my daughter banging on the door? This is amazing. Live. This is wonderful. This is why I keep the door shut. You see, she's not even able to turn the handle yet. So hopefully I will be rescued. I don't want to repeat of that guy that was on the news and having his daughters just come in arguing over things. So looking at this section here on the charts, what we have is we have a break of that structure and a retest of the structure. And why is a break and retest important? Well, I'll tell you why it's important, because what it does is it changes this line, which was an area of support. Whenever price came there, it bounced up. If we go back across, so what we can see here, price has wanted to move there, it's come away. It's wanted to move there, it's come away. It's touched there and it has come away, and it's gone all the way to the top. It's gone all the way up to this range, and then it's tried to come closer to that line. It's moved away. So this line, it just tells us when price gets there, something happens. That's all it tells us. So then previously it's moved away. Now that it's gone underneath this line, it has changed this line from what we refer to as a floor or an area of support to now a ceiling or an area of resistance. So it's now somewhere where when price comes there, it moves away in the opposite direction. Is that clear? I hope that makes sense. So changing that one trend line, we draw one trend line, it can be an area of support. So when price comes there, it bounces away, comes there, but then when it breaks through and comes to the other side, it now becomes a ceiling or an area of resistance. I should have used my hand before. That's kind of a nice little illustration. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So here we've seen that price has broken that line and it's retested and it's dropped. So what would a trader do? They've seen, okay, so this was on an upward trend. This was moving up. It was moving up. It was moving up. It's got to this part here. But then all of a sudden, it's come down. It's broken there. So now they're saying, right, it's no longer on an upward trend. This gives the trader confidence that now price is going to start moving down. There are a couple of things, that can happen here. So I'm going to just using the crosshair. And don't worry about what I'm doing with these tools for now if you can't do them. But holding shift and clicking on the crosshair, I'm just trying to find out how much movement has happened from that place to this area here. So that is a 72 pip movement, and that's over a period of 19 hours. That is a nice little day trade there, and that's probably shorter than that because I started a bit ahead. So again, that is a good, nice movement to take to the downside. So you would go in for a sell once it's done the retest, and you would take it from there. Sorry, I took it from the wrong place. Let me zoom in a little bit. Just to get a bit more of an accurate illustration here. So holding shift, clicking down, moving from there to this point here, 74 pips, and that's over 20 hours. So again, a nice day trade to be taking there. And the confirmation is what? We've looked and we've identified a head and shoulders pattern. We've seen that there's a potential reversal of structure. We've waited for the break and the retest, and then you get into the trade there and you take the pip movement down to there. Why down to there, OC, you might be asking. Okay, well, let me just put in a line there and let's zoom out. And this isn't with any prior analysis. This is on the fly. Okay, so I've said down there, and look at what's happened down there. Okay, so, oops, let me keep it at the bottom of there. At that section there, oh, look. Let's have a look here. So this has shown that this area, it was a previous floor. So this is a previous area that was a floor for price here. When price tried to come here, it bounced away. Again, it tried to come here, it bounced away. And also it was a previous ceiling. So this is an area of interest. So when you're looking at the chart, you wouldn't just have in your line that shows you the bottom of the head and shoulders pattern, but you would assess and think, where could price go to? And again, this isn't a definite, but it's a potential. Where could price potentially go to? Now, again, if this were me, I'm looking at this area and there are a few wicks around here. I would take a safer move by moving this up and saying, I imagine price would get to there because it has gone beyond there on a few occasions before. So that would be the area where I'd set my take profit, and price definitely went there. And if it didn't touch there, we can see that with the pullback, it eventually did touch there a little bit later. And hopefully that clarifies how you can use the head and shoulders pattern as an indicator to show that there's a change in the structure and a reversal in the way that the market is going to flow. And if we zoom out even more and we have a look at this, from this point here, we can see that, yes, okay, price broke through there at this point, but really from here onwards, price does not return to this point. Now, that's something, again, that would be of interest to a trader, because once it hits this low point here, they have to think to themselves, what is price going to do next? And again, we have that kind of reverse. Let me just draw this in, reverse head and shoulders here. You've got the shoulder there, head, and you've got the shoulder on that side. And then people could decide, okay, right, this is the line of support and resistance, and you're waiting for a break and retest of that. Now that has happened around this area here, and it's popped up here. Where could it go to next? We can see prices moving up. Yes, you're right. It could move back up to here. So that is, delete that. That is an example of how, let me bring the arrow back. That is an example of how we can use the head and shoulders structure to identify areas in the market where we could spot a reversal. Now, I've zoomed out here to show you, can you see these two peaks? Hopefully you can see these two peaks. What are those two peaks showing you? What are those two peaks showing you? Yes, you are correct. That is showing you a double top. And like I said before, and these structures can be identified from a zoomed in perspective. It can be identified from a zoomed out perspective. There is no rule. It all depends on what specific position you are trying to take at that time, and whether you're deciding to take a longer position in the market or a shorter term position in the market. That would change the chart view that you're looking at, and you would look at an hour chart or a 15-minute chart, and you would identify these same structures at those levels. But here at the hour level, we can see we have a peak, another peak, and what happens after that? Again, we've got this area here where it breaks down, and we've got, actually, if we're taking this as the bottom, we've got the break and retest of that area there, and it continues to go down. And if we're to use the crosshairs to identify how much of a movement that would be off of this break and retest here, let's hold shift and click, moving down to there. Oh, that's a nice 220 pip movement there. So again, that is how we can use both the head and shoulders pattern and the double top pattern to identify areas of a reversal in the market. Now, again, when it comes to technical analysis, there's a lot of subjectivity involved. It is not just about relying on one person's analysis. So you can look at people, even on TradingView, on the website itself, there are videos where people are marking up the charts and giving you trade ideas. Yes, you can take those ideas. Yes, you can maybe trade off it, but just know that you are risking your trade based on someone else's analysis. The best thing to do is to learn the skill for yourself. And it is very important to do that, because you don't want to get into a trade that you are not confident in getting in. I'll tell you why. At the best of times, we like to blame people. We don't make that promotion because of the other person that started few weeks ago. They got the promotion. It's all their fault, or it's all your manager's fault that they got the promotion instead of you. We blame naturally. We blame naturally. So if you're taking ideas from somebody else and they're telling you, yes, this is the trade to take, and then you take that trade, just know that it is on you that you've taken that trade. It is better to take trades from people that you know their track record. You can see that actually, and also take trades from people that are taking those trades themselves. If that person is not taking that trade and they're telling you to take it, alarm bells should be ringing in your head. Okay, so beware when you see just things that are mocked up. I'm not saying that they're not accurate. I'm not saying that they don't work. I'm just saying that we need to be very confident that actually the position that we're taking are solid positions, okay, based on solid analysis. So guys, please tell me, give me some feedback. Has this been useful? Has this been helpful to you? I'm hoping that this gives some clarification on those structures that I mentioned last week very briefly, and that is how to identify them on a chart. Hopefully you've been able to do this with me. Hopefully it wasn't too fast. If it was, please go back and watch this video again and pause it where you need to and draw along with me. Open up another tab if you're using a computer and just watch the video, pause, open up the tab and draw along with me. These types of basic skills are very, very essential to being able to take positions in the market and being comfortable in the trades that you're taking. So I hope that does make sense. Thank you so much, Marsha. Very interesting. Thank you, Marsha. Do you know what? Prize to you, Marsha, for being the most interactive this week and the most responsive to my request. Thank you so much. I'm glad that it's helping you. And for the rest of you that have commented as well, Destiny, Jasmine, Vicky, N, and Oggs as well. Thank you so much. Now, what are we going to do now? I'm going to get into the a question and answer section of the session, because I love to be able to clarify the different points that I've made and help you to just have any questions answered. So if you have any questions, please type them in the chat box below. Also, tell you what, criticize my session. Tell me how it's been. Has it been too fast? OC, you said it was Forex basics, but this isn't basics. This is way too much for me. I want you to tell me and let me know. I'll be happy to adapt it. I want you to be able to grasp the concepts of what it means to be a trader, to be a retail trader. And I want to demystify it as well, because there are a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of misunderstanding out there. I put a poll on my Instagram channel, and I asked, is Forex a scam? And I'm just going to check and see the poll results to see what people think, because it really does intrigue me. Some people they're not too sure about whether Forex is actually a real thing. Well, it is. It's actually a profession, and it's something that needs to be treated with respect, and it needs to be approached in a respectful way, so they're actually learning the skill. It is not a get rich. This thing is not a get rich quick. This thing. It's not a get rich quick. This thing. You have to learn the skill now. You have to do this thing. My baby is crying and screaming for me, knocking the door, because she knows it's not a get rich quick. This thing. You have to learn it. You have to learn it. Okay, so good pace. The pace is perfect for me. Thank you so much, Vicky. Fascinating from Awesome You watching from YouTube. I'm so glad that you find it fascinating. Thank you so much. That's very kind. You're a very good teacher. Keep up the great work. I appreciate that, Marsha. Thank you. But I'm not perfect. I try to get better and better. I always want to improve. But yes, it definitely is a profession. It needs to be treated as a profession. And I say this, I may have said this before, but I'll say this again to you. I don't think there are many other things in life that if you are learning, you would expect to have professional results straight away. So here's the thing. Trading is a profession, yes? Okay. So trading is a profession, and professional results is high reward, right? So if you're trading and you're putting in a certain amount of money, you would expect to get a large amount of return back. That is professional results, okay? Now, why would a beginner expect professional results straight away? So if you were learning the guitar, where's my guitar? Didn't plan any of this at all. I'm just making this up as I go along. I'm learning the guitar. So you want to learn E, A, B, A, Z, A, G, and you're learning the guitar. But hold on a second. After 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, after a month, you want to be playing professional. I was about to play. I'm not going to play. You think I'm professional? I'm not professional. You won't be expecting to do like major licks and major chords after 2 weeks. You need to learn the skill. You need to learn the skill. And that's how you should treat trading like a proper profession. Stick this in the Hercules. Stick it in the Hercules. Trading is a profession. It is a real profession. So we need to treat it that way. And we need to make sure that we're actually considering the skills that are learned, and we're patient with it so that our growth is real growth over time. So yes, you can get quick results very quickly, etc. But the reality is, actually, can you sustain those results? Are you able to be consistent? Trading is all about consistency. Okay, thank you so much for those people who are commenting on online. Thank you, Etim, and thank you, much laughing. I'm sorry, I'm quite sure the T-shirt has brought out the accent this week. But yes, that is the deal. The Nigerian accent just has to come out, and I have to do this thing. So, okay, let's wrap up for today. If there are no questions, I'm going to put on some background music.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Oh, that's my theme. Nice. Right. Okay. So, okay, we've reached the end of the session. I hope you've enjoyed the session. So, what should we do next? Here's the thing. If you would like to start trading, if you would like to start learning via a trading academy, here's my advice to you. Some of you may have been invited by somebody. I would like you to contact that person that has invited you to watch this. They will help you to be able to take further steps and solidify your learning goals. Okay, if you have just come across this randomly on YouTube and you kind of want to get tagged into a learning academy, I told you that I'm part of an academy. If that is the case, then you can visit www.edgewayedu.com/trading, and there is a button on there, start now. It looks just like that. Okay, and once you click start now, you can follow the procedure from there. So again, if you have been invited to watch this by somebody, a friend of yours has been talking to you about trading, contact them. They will help you to get plugged in. If not, go to Edgeway Edu and you can click start now and you can get involved there. Now, if you need more information, if you're someone who this is maybe your first session and you need to go back to some of the earlier sessions, that's exactly what I'm going to tell you today. I want you to go to my website, sign up to a mailing list. You can receive more basics trading tips. I'm going to be sending out emails. I'm going to be sending out pictures. I may even possibly send out my slides as well. If you want my slides, please let me know. I'll be happy to give them to you. And also watch previous sessions on the YouTube channel. Guys, it's been fantastic. I'm going to stop early because it's such a nice day outside and I have no guest with me. But next week, like I said, I have the one and only Bas Kuiman, who is joining me here in the Honey Block for Forex 101. I may be the only person who says his name right. Hopefully I've said your name right, Bas. But we'll talk about that next week. Bas will talk about his journey in trading. This guy's a master educator when it comes to trading. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people from around the world watch him and actually follow the trades that he takes. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how he became a trader, and we're going to also deal with some more basics tips next week. So everybody, thank you so much for your attention. God bless you. I'm going to give you all a round of applause because you're all fantastic. You're wonderful people. Please share this with somebody you think may find it useful. Hopefully they will. And tune in next week for more Forex 101 here in the Honey Block with me, OC Ejiofor. God bless you all. Take care. Have a lovely day. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Take care. See you.